Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So today, let's take a look at the 2025 BMW M3 Competition xDrive. Huge shout out to Hendrick BMW Charlotte for providing this sedan for me today. Take a look at the website, that link is down in the description. This M3 is finished off in an individual color called Monteverde Metallic, and the MSRP is just over $107,000. Now this is powered by the 3-liter twin-turbo inline-6, it's paired to the 8-speed automatic, and it pumps out 523 horsepower, 479 pound-feet of torque. That power is sent through the xDrive all-wheel drive system, propelling this nearly 4,000-pound sedan from 0 to 60 in as quick as 2.8 seconds. BMW claims 3.4 seconds. It also has a top speed of 180 miles an hour. And as far as fuel economy goes, you're looking at 16 miles per gallon in the city and 23 out on the highway, running off a 15.6 gallon fuel tank. This also has a wheelbase of 112.5 inches. Its overall length is 189.1. It has a width of 74.3, a height of 56.6, and its ground clearance measures in at 4.8 inches. Now, in the right lighting, this color looks a little bit silver. You can see a hint of green in it, just depending on the angle and the lighting. So it's definitely a unique color and spec for this model. Now up front, this also has the exterior carbon fiber package. So you'll notice the entire lower front splitter there is carbon fiber, along with these massive inlets where you can get a lot of cooling to all the components up front. There's also the kidney grille with a forward-facing camera, all the gloss black accents, which match nicely with the dark housings for the LEDs, which have a great look to them. And then you'll notice too, all of the lines from the top of the grille work their way into the hood just to blend it in and give it a great look. Now this model also has a gloss black set of wheels, and it does feature the standard brakes, finished off in black for this model, just to match nicely with that wheel. You'll notice there's gloss black for the lower side skirt. It's also on this M3 Competition badge, and with the power folding side mirrors, you do get carbon fiber for the mirror cap. There's also a camera and a turn signal, and then more gloss black for all of the window trim. Now with the Competition, you do get the carbon fiber roof. You can actually opt for a sunroof too if you would like. And then as we take a step back, has a really good side design, very smooth lines, minus the one that's just above the door handle height there to give it a great look. Now there's also more carbon fiber for the trunk mounted spoiler. You get LEDs for all the lighting. There's a backup camera, all the parking sensors, and then a combination of gloss black and carbon fiber for the lower bumper and diffuser. There's also quad tip dual exhaust system, which you can remote start. So if I triple tap on the lock button, we can bring this to life. And then you just triple tap on that button again to shut it off as needed. Now you can also use the key fob or the button located up underneath by the backup camera to gain access to your cargo space, where this does have a power operating trunk lid. And you'll notice there's a small storage bin on the driver's side. You get another one on the passenger side. There's no storage or spare underneath the floor, but you can also fold down the back seats. So you can pull on these tabs on both sides to give yourself that much more interior space. So it makes it for a practical vehicle if you are looking for performance and something you can place items in. Now there's two buttons underneath that trunk lid where you can close and lock the vehicle. If you do lock it, you can grab any door handle to enter the interior. Now this model is paired with a Tartufo leather, which is a nice combo. There's Harman Kardon for the audio, storage in the lower section. There's also ambient lighting with all the brushed aluminum accents. And then you'll notice too that we have the BMW colors stitched on the seat belts. And as I lower this seat, you can get a look at how much space you have with the seats down. So you can definitely fit in a lot of items. Now entering the back at 5'10", I have a good bit of space, you'll notice. There's vents in the middle. You have all of your temperature adjustments along with auxiliaries. And at my height, I have maybe a ½ inch or so of headroom. So if you're any taller than me, it might be a little bit tight, but I can sit upright and be comfortable in the back. So it is practical for people to be in the back. Now you can lower the center armrest if you want to use it as an armrest. There's no cup holders or storage located in that. And then as we work our way up front, the door panel is just like the rear. However, there's the memory seating adjustments. You have your mirror controls, window adjustments, along with the trunk release and more storage. And then a very nice design for these seats. These are more of the standard seats. You can opt for the carbon fiber bucket seats. You have the manual leg support and then the rest of the automatic controls down below. And then as we hop in, we're greeted with a solid leather steering wheel with the red stripe BMW colors. It's also a flat bottom design, and you get really cool spokes on both sides too. But let's fire this up now, take a listen to how this sounds. And coming back to the gauge cluster now, you'll notice on the left side there's miles per hour and fuel. On the right side there's tach and engine temperature. Now you can also go through that by using this button right here in the middle. So you can pull up content and now scroll within the middle here to pull up all this information, just depending on what you need to see and what you would like to have being shown. And then you can also go into the head-up display. So you do have a few different settings here. You can pull up your map, reduced view, you have your directional and standard there. So pretty configurable just with that setting there. You also have M1 and M2. So these are shortcuts into the driving mode. There's paddle shifters too. You get volume tuning, Bluetooth and voice commands, and then cruise control settings on the left. Now you also get some storage space on the left of the steering wheel, along with all the headlight adjustments, a dimmer switch for the gauges. There's one air vent, leather covers the entire dash, and then with the rest of the infotainment system, you have quite a lot that you can go through. Now on the home screen, you can go through all of these widgets, just depending on what you need to see. You can also customize them as well. And then there's shortcuts in the lower section that are always going to remain fixed. Now with this xDrive model, you can also go into your drifting, so you can monitor that. You have a lap timer too, so you can get into this and go through all that information when needed. You have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and several other settings that you can go into and monitor as needed. You also have shortcuts into your climates. You can pull up the navigation, there's music as well. And then this model has heated seats, a heated steering wheel, and there's your temperature adjustments for driver and passenger. Now with M1 and M2, if we go back into home and we go into setup, this is how you can further configure them. So you have M1 and M2 and all of these various settings to control it the way you would like. You also have the M-Drive or the xDrive, where you can go from four-wheel drive to two-wheel drive or make this rear-wheel drive. So you can have these presets ready to go, which is really nice. Now there's also this optional trim accent just underneath that. You get some ambient lighting along with vents. You have power and volume tuning and some defrosters. There's also wireless charging with auxiliaries and cup holders. And then you do have shortcuts to this screen. So you don't have to use it as a touchscreen system. You can simply just use these controls to go through all the information. And then this is how you put the vehicle into reverse. So you have automatic parking, the backup assistance, and several different angles depending on the visibility that you need. So there's no shortage of visibility with the camera angles that you do get. And then we can put it into drive, put it into the sport mode setting, so you can shift using the shifter or the paddles. And then on the back side, you have park and the ability to adjust how quick or slow you want the transmission to feel, which is very nice to see. There's also traction control. You do get a shortcut to the forward-facing camera, so you can pull that up. You have the parking sensors, engine start stop. And then when you activate M mode, you can go from road to sport and track. That is also going to change the head-up display as well, so you have some more performance-oriented information. And then track mode is just going to shut off the infotainment system. You have the same setup for the head-up display and the gauge cluster. You also have the shortcut to get into M1 and M2. There's the exhaust note, auto hold, and the e-brake. You get an auxiliary with storage in the armrest, and then plenty of storage in the glove box. And then you do get garage door buttons up top and dome lights too. And then here's a look at visibility. Pillars are thin in the back, so it's very easy to see over both shoulders for this family style sedan. So as we set up behind the wheel now for the M3 competition, by now I've been able to drive several of these models, and it's always fun to showcase the different options that you can get with this sedan, because there are so many different options you can go with, including individual colors like what you see for this model here. First time I've ever heard of it or seen it in person. I think it's a really nice color for this, especially paired with the interior. So with the driving experience that I have with the M3s in general, this is by far the most fun sedan that I get to drive. We did have one for a week where we got to really test its performance in the mountains and see how well this sedan performs. If you are looking for something that has a ton of power, a lot more than what I'm doing today, you can't go wrong with this model. You can also get it in rear-wheel drive, and you can also get a manual transmission. So just depending on what you are looking to get, this is a practical vehicle that you can daily drive and still have the power. This is something that you are not going to sacrifice by not having a coupe and having functional back seats and still get performance like an M4. This is pretty much on par with that, just with easy access into the back. So I think it's a really good combination. It's something that you can just drive comfortably in daily driving traffic, if you're going to work, whatever it may be. And then you have some fun buttons that you can configure to really get this dialed in. What I also like about it too is that with the ability of the transmission shifting points here, you can make it kind of laid back for those daily driving settings, or you can have them very, very crisp. So right now, that's what I have them in. So you'll feel, I wouldn't say a harsh shift, but it gives you some really good engagement there between the shifts, or you can just dial it down. It's gonna be a little bit more smooth and a lot more comfortable for daily driving. It's also an incredibly comfortable vehicle to drive. The model that we had for a week had the optional carbon fiber bucket seats, which I would opt for. Super comfortable. They are kind of slim, so this is a more comfortable daily driver getting in and out of, but again, another option that you can go with. And aside from the seats, it's just very comfortable in general. It's a luxury, refined vehicle as you would expect from BMW, so you are going to get that quiet, enjoyable ride and just something really nice to be in. So if you are looking for basically the ultimate daily driver, I think the M3 is at the top of the list. Comment down below. There's a few other competitors. In my opinion, they're all good, but I think I've had the most seat time with the BMW, but I think this is definitely one heck of a family sedan. And we have it in sport mode, second gear. Here we go. And just a mild acceleration, and we're up to speed here. Check out the mountain drive that we did in the M3 Comp to really see the performance and getting to push those limits just a little bit more. But this is what it's like to be behind the wheel for the M3 competition. Definitely a fantastic vehicle, and you have a lot of nice options that you can spec. So again, depending on your budget, they start in the mid $80,000 range and can go up from there, starting with the manual and then going all the way up to this, the competition with the xDrive system. So you have so many different levels to dial this in and spec it the way that you would like. It's also not all that loud either, which I do wish it was a little bit louder, but again, being more of a luxury focused vehicle, it's going to have kind of a toned down aspect to it, but you can make it louder if you choose to do so. And it's just a really nice place to be. You have plenty of space for your backseat passengers too, tons of cargo space as you've already seen. And so if you want the best of everything, at some point I think this would be nice to have in my garage. I'm not sure if I would go manual or not. The automatic might be a little bit easier for more than just me to drive, but it's definitely a fun option. So let's give it another quick acceleration where turning radius is also pretty good. So we can easily do that. And here we go. And that is going to wrap it up for the 2025 BMW M3 competition. Once again, huge shout out to Hendrick BMW Charlotte for providing this sedan for me today. Take a look at their website, give this video a huge thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and consider smashing that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.